Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tuesday's Market SITREP here at Top Gun Options. That's TGO. My name is Matthew Buckley. Call sign Wiz or call sign Twitter jail. I'm back in Twitter jail for another 7 days because I had the nerve to point out that the left in this country is a lot more pro-pedophilia than the right. Does everybody remember when Snapchat a couple weeks ago or a month ago had the whole filter that said love knows no age? And don't even get me started. And in this tweet, I said, and one of the letters in the left's alphabet soup is for pedophiles. They're trying to normalize pedophilia. And I said, I think they should be executed. If you commit a sexual crime against a child, you should be executed, period. Well, the social justice warriors over at Twitter think that that's just I don't know what they have a problem with. That I believe that the left is pro-pedophilia, more pro-pedophilia than anybody else. I don't. Well, it might be the alphabet soup. I think the last time I got put in Twitter jail, they had a problem with my alphabet soup. Or maybe it's the whole they should be executed part. Twitter is absolutely disgusting. Everybody knows that the CEO, Jack Dorsey, right? He committed perjury when he testified in front of Congress. Everybody remember Jack Dorsey sitting there and saying, we don't ban conservative voices or we don't shadow ban. And then a month later, his company coming out and saying, yeah, we shadow ban and we've been banning conservative voices. Absolutely awful. Up the street from me, an American named Roger Stone, a senior citizen who doesn't own a weapon, had a dawn raid with over 20 jackbooted officers, 2 Marine patrol units in the intercoastal behind him, to arrest him for perjury. Jack Dorsey, And don't give me this bullshit about, oh, they have the right to do this. They're a private business or, hey, man, don't hold yourself up as the public square and ban speech. Awful people. I can't wait for it's ridiculous. Facebook, Twitter, all these folks. You want to talk about election interference? It's with these folks. It is throwing it. James Woods, I think, is still off Twitter. It's awful, disgusting. I can't wait for this company to go out of business. I can't wait for Trump to move to an alternate platform. Anyway, all right. Hey, starting next Monday night, we're going to do a new Full Throttle series. We're going to do, I think, 4 or 5. We're going to go back to the old format by popular demand. Do me a favor, head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT. I'm going to give you a full week of live trading and training starting July 15th, and we're going to do a brief that Monday night at 9 p.m., kind of a welcome aboard brief. No trading, just my background, a little bit about TGO and everything we do here, our methodology, and how we're winning dogfighting this market. It's free to register. Nobody in the industry gives you a week of free access into what they do. I do. I don't give you 90 PowerPoint slides and ask for a huge membership fee up front, and then you look behind the curtain and it sucks. I'm gonna open the doors to our squadron for free. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT. Iran. President had some harsh words for Iran yesterday. Really don't care at this point. I don't believe the guy. Every time he says, oh, they're in big trouble or they better not or this, it's stupid. The man looks like a fool every time he says something. I'd prefer the president at this point just say, no comment. That's all he has to say. He said, hey, man, they're not going to be allowed to enrich or they're not going to be allowed to get a nuclear weapon. I have no comment, any further comment. I'd prefer his no comment over his tough guy talk, which sounds stupid. So Iran's still out there. Ceasefire has crumbled. We know it wasn't a ceasefire. We are still shooting at China, and it's getting worse. We put a bear call spread, a weekly options bear call spread on yesterday in our weekly options brief. And it looks great. I didn't get filled on it, of course, but it looks great. Let's take a look at what FXI is. I love when E-Trade logs me out after like 30 seconds of inactivity. It's super awesome. I need to change those settings. So, bear call spread on FXI yesterday in the brief is looking fantastic. And then take a look yesterday afternoon in our solo Amazon service. Look at what we did. We put a bull put spread on Amazon. Amazon's up $30 today. 2 shots, 2 good-looking kills here. 1 day weekly options trade and an Amazon pre-earnings bull put spread. It's almost back up to 2,000, folks. You have got to get on board and see what we do in our solo Amazon service. But 2 really good-looking trades in that portfolio. But you got to be bearish on China, folks. And what happened yesterday? The U.S. just approved $2.2 billion worth of arms sales to Taiwan, and Beijing is not happy. Some F-16, some M1 Abrams battle tanks, some Stinger missiles. Holy shnikes, China is furious. And guess who's visiting the United States in July? The Taiwanese president. Okay, welcome aboard. Trump hints at a new trade war with who? Let's go after China this time. So here we go. The president tweet today, India has long had a field day putting tariffs on American products, no longer acceptable. Okay, so I've warned you about this, folks. If and when he gets a trade deal done with the Chinese, he's already said what? Hey, Europe, India, you guys are next. So welcome to the rest of our time under President Trump, and I absolutely agree with what the guy's doing. China says there will be no trade deal unless the existing tariffs are stripped. So they're like, and it's funny because I heard what was his name today? The market whisperer, Larry Kudlow, interview on his old stomping ground, CNBC today, said, well, Mnuchin and these guys are back to, talking. I thought they were. The president told us at the G20 that people are already talking. I guess he meant low-level people. So we haven't had Mnuchin, Lighthizer, Navarro, any of these guys, Wilbur Ross, who's the Commerce Secretary. None of these dudes have gotten on an airplane. And you haven't seen Vice Premier Li Hu in D.C. Nothing's going on with trade. Bearish on FXI. It's going awesome. Third day in a row that stocks are in the red. Morgan Stanley yesterday, we are putting our money where our mouth is and downgrading global stocks to sell. They are going underweight on equities. All eyes are on the Fed, though, folks. Jerome Powell testifying tomorrow and Wednesday in front of the House and Senate. It's going to be interesting. Larry Kudlow today said, hey, man, the Fed made a mistake back there in December, whenever it was, in the fall, to raise interest rates and should have cut. Right? So Eddie said his job's safe. So this is going to be very, very interesting. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell's approach to interest rate policy wins bipartisan backing. Well, he doesn't win the president's backing. He has been happy with this guy since he took the job. He's demanded some QE, some quantitative easing. He's demanded that the Fed stop running off their balance sheet, and he's, demanded a cut in interest rates. So it ain't bipartisan coming out of the president. Really good jobs report. Really clouds the Fed interest rate cut outlook here. Today, as I've been predicting, we're going to pull back to this triple top here. So 1, 2, 3, we're starting to head back to around this 29.50, 29.75 level. I think we're going to hang out there until we hear from Uncle Jerome tomorrow. I think he can only disappoint at this point. I think a 25-point cut is in this market. If we don't get that, or if he sounds hawkish tomorrow, I think we got kind of a sell-off here. Investors shouldn't get used to good news hurting stocks, right? What happened on Friday? Literally just blow out jobs number. And what happened? The market sold off and volatility popped. Why? Because we're getting drunk, not getting drunk. We've been drunk for years on the Fed hopium. Bizarro market. Good news is good news. Bad news is good news. And awful news is great news. So on Friday, the good news was actually bad news. Why? Because the market wants a rate cut. So what they're getting at is this bizarro market should end eventually. And that might be a lot of volatility. Decline in share buybacks pose a hurdle for the stock market. And we got earnings starting in earnest next week, and they aren't going to be good. This is the second worst quarter on record going back to when I was sitting in the Chicago Board of Trade. 77% of companies have pre-warned that they ain't going to be doing good. All right, I got to get going. We have a primary live trade brief today at 1 o'clock. I already sent out a text and email alert. We're legging into an iron condor on Brasil. I sent out a bull put spread, and I sent out a bear call spread. There's a copy of the email that went out, and I got the text alert at the same time as the email went out. So everything is looking good. And then I'm hosting Analyze Your Trade today at 4 o'clock over at Timing Research with Larry Gaines, Jim Kenny, and my good friend from Boca Raton down here, Anka Matkoff from Trade Out Loud. So if you guys want to sign up, I'll put the link on our Facebook here so you can sign up, unless, of course, they've shut down my Facebook account too. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. I'll see you tomorrow.